Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing the Netflix film See You Yesterday. This was directed by Stanford Brissell and stars Eden Duncan Smith, Dante Critchlow, with a special appearance by Michael J. Fox. The film really looks at two teenage science prodigies, Claudette, played by Eden Duncan Smith, and Sebastian J, played by Dante Critchlow. They spend every spare minute working on their latest homemade invention, backpacks that enable time travel. When one of their older brothers is killed, they put their unfinished project to the test to save him. And of course things don't go according to plan, like most of these movies, but it's about them trying to do it no matter what. I liked this film. I thought it was solid. It felt like a real throwback to the 90s kid sort of family film that we saw in that period of time, where it was very fun and interesting, had an interesting concept, the characters were interesting to watch, and it was just a film that you sort of got sucked into, and it was very funny. And this film is definitely that in many ways. I think it's a highly entertaining film. I think it has a lot of heart. I think it's very funny in parts. I like the science concept, how it's not too complicated to understand. They simplify it, but it's still interesting, engaging to watch. How they come up with this and ultimately work out how it works. I like the fact that when they go back in time, it's only 10 minutes they've got to try and rectify something. It gives them a small window to accomplish their goals. And it's also a timer for them. I think it's well executed and put together. I like how they sort of play with the time travel thing and how we see them disappear from one place and appear in another. I really like that. I thought the two leads did a fantastic job. I think this Sebastian and Claudette are really interesting characters. They have great chemistry together, these two actors, and you really feel for them. You really feel connected to them. You want to see them achieve what they've set out to do. You're there with them. You're glued to the screen. You want to see what transpires, and it's so fascinating in that regard. There's even a special appearance by Michael J. Fox, which I think is great. He plays a science teacher. He's trying to encourage them, and when they start talking about time travel, he does the great Doc Brown line from Back to the Future, where he goes, "Time travel, great Scott." I thought that was a really great nice little touch there. There's two elements to this film. The lighter side to the film is very fun and entertaining, and you see them work together and who they are as people, and there's some really comical moments in it. And there's a dramatic element to it, obviously the death of Claudette's brother, but it sort of looks at the impact of gun violence that's disguised as a fun and entertaining sci-fi movie. I like how they depict the time travel, where they start in an alleyway and then disappear and they go back in time ultimately. I like the fact they only go back one day. But it also shows the impact that the decisions they make in that time affect the future. That if something happens to the future version of themselves, then the past version doesn't exist anymore. I thought that was a really interesting way to sort of talk about time travel, and because there's been so many time travel movies, this was trying to do something a little different, but also picking and taking things from past sci-fi movies that deal with time travel. I thought that was interesting as well. I think it's well crafted and put together. I think there's a small amount of visual effects that are effectively used, and it is just surrounding characters that are interesting as well. Really, it's about the bond between Claudette and Sebastian that's the most interesting and engaging part of the movie. There are things I didn't enjoy as much. I felt like, even though how they went about doing the time travel stuff was interesting, where they disappear from one place and appear to another, there's this whole section where you see what happens in the middle, like they go through a wormhole, they go through something. And I don't know if this really works. I don't know if I really liked that or what they were trying to show here. It just felt kind of silly compared to what they were doing in regards to time travel and other parts of the movie. And I just felt this was a little out of place. Some of the character motivations don't always make sense. I think the biggest thing with it is, I don't think they got the tone right. To have this fun and entertaining and sort of adventurous film, and have this dramatic element and this sort of drama part, it just didn't sort of mesh for me. It sort of felt a bit wonky in tone-wise, and it took you out of the film a bit when it went to the dramatic parts and went back and forth, I guess, between both. And I think that let the film down a little bit. But besides that, I really enjoyed my experience with the movie. In the end, it really asks the questions. How far would you go for someone you love? What would you do to ultimately save them or make sure that they're okay? And what would the consequences be of your decisions? What if you could time travel? And what effect would that have on the past and the present? And what would that do to you as a human being and the people around you? I think it asks some interesting questions. I'm going to give See You Yesterday 4 out of 5. I was entertained all the way through. Like I said, the tone didn't quite work for me, but the rest of the film was really great. And I just felt nostalgic for the 90s because of it. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe down the bottom. Follow me on Facebook. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.